All right, number 34. As the organisms are consumed, the concentration of the toxins increases in consumers. Which organism would most likely contain the highest concentration of a toxin? So I'm going to go on over to diagram 2 and we'll look at the choices together. Okay, so these toxins will have an accumulating effect. So let's see who's going to have the highest concentration. Is it the phytoplankton because they are how the toxins entered into this food web, so they're the source? Is it the zooplankton because they're the first order consumers and they're the first to feed on the toxic phytoplankton? Is it the acorn barnacle because they are filter feeders and would filter the toxins from the water? Or is it the octopi because they are apex predators and feed on organisms that have accumulated the toxins? So let's see what that could be. So the octopus we see is a primary, secondary, tertiary. Probably a lot of ways to go here. Primary, secondary, tertiary, primary. I'm trying to see if it's tracked from the shore crab. I don't see it. But we could see that it's a tertiary consumer in a couple of food webs, so it's probably going to get the highest amount of the toxins. Based on the information, place the organisms in their highest trophic level. So, this is what it looks like on your TestNav answer sheet, but of course it looks very different on TestNav. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to this diagram. Okay. So we have our producers, our primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. So I think it's best probably to start from the producer out because that's the way we do these. So our choices, you can see them there: the limpet, the octopus, the sea anemone, phytoplankton, sea snail, and zooplankton. So our producer is going to be the beginning of our food web. And it looks like our primary producer, because we've got phytoplankton and sea lettuce, that our primary producer is going to be the phytoplankton. Now, the next thing, we have two of the first order or primary consumers. So we could see that the phytoplankton is eaten by the limpet. So the limpet is one of those. It's eaten by the shore crab. It's eaten by the mussel. It's eaten by the acorn barnacle. And it's eaten by the zooplankton. So the zooplankton is another one of your primary or first order consumers. Second order consumers, we also have two of those. So we could see that the sea star is a secondary consumer. We could see that, here's the lines go crazy, crazy, crazy. No. Midnight. There's a cat trying to pull one of my strings of lights I added to my tree. It's a constant struggle. Little jerk. All right. So I've done forgotten where I'm at. Oh, acorn barnacle. Let's see. Mussel. The octopus is a secondary consumer. Who else are our choices? I've lost my concentration. We've got, I can't remember, guys. My brain's muddled. So I think we put limpet as a primary. Who else did we put as a primary? Zooplankton, secondary, mussel, shore crab, sea anemone is a secondary, tertiary, shore crab, anemone, sea star, secondary. Okay, you get the idea. Number 36. Number 36, sorry. Coastal runoff from an agricultural community enters tide pools before entering the ocean. Which organism would immediately benefit from the runoff in the tide pool? So here's the picture that I should have put earlier on, kind of reminding us what runoff is, and then a little look at kind of what these tidal pools look like. So you can imagine the water running off from agriculture, fertilizers, whatever else could be in those coming into this tidal pool. So who would be the first to use that? Would it be the octopus, the phytoplankton, the sea star, and the mussel? So we got to think who is in this tide pool that's going to use any type of nutrients from runoff. And that's probably going to be your producer, your phytoplankton. And then number 37. This is another one of those that it's kind of like, I can't believe they left this question in here. Which change to the tide pool communities would be the most likely effect of global climate change? So for me, if I'm taking this up and grading it, I really don't care what you put because I hate this question. Hold on one second. So I'm trying to save my voice. Global climate change, would that affect an increase in rainfall will wash the communities away from the shoreline? An increase in temperature will cause the communities to migrate deeper to cooler water. Rising sea levels will result in communities being established higher on the shoreline. Or D, individuals will adapt to changing conditions and there will be no effect on communities. Well, based upon the information they provided to us, it was all about that vertical. We had that vertical description. So for me, I would say C. But again, I just like this this question, and I think that you would have to have more information provided to really answer this question. But that's what I would put. The end.